Hi, my name is Shenker, and I am a data scientist at Civis Analytics. In this video, I'll introduce you to Census Intelligence Center, a comprehensive toolkit we made to support data-driven census campaigns. Census Intelligence Center, which I'll refer to in short as CIC, is an application that sits on top of Civis platform and serves as a single place for storing, visualizing, and reporting on data related to the 2020 census. Teams can use CIC to understand who their hard-to-count populations are, where they live, and what their barriers and motivators are, identify the best messaging to use for each group, optimize resourcing, staffing, and materials for community events and outreach, and, when the census kicks off, use nightly return rate data to adjust resource allocation where it's needed most. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of Census Intelligence Center, and then walk through a short real-life example of a client that is already using CIC in their everyday job. This is the homepage of the Census Intelligence Center. What you will see on the homepage are predefined audiences that have been created to give you a head start in understanding your audience. For this example, let's say that I am a census coordinator in Dallas County. My goal is to ensure that the county's resources are allocated as efficiently as possible to achieve an accurate and equitable census count. In this example, I'm going to focus on answering two questions. What are the hardest to count areas in my community? And second, what points of interest are located in hard to count areas that I can use to hold events? Since we are just starting out, we'll navigate to new audience and apply some logic to define our audience. If I do not apply any conditions or filters to my audience, I'll be provided a map visualization of all of the blocks or tracts within the geographic area that I'm analyzing. In this case, we are using Dallas County, so we can see a map of all of the blocks in that area. On the map, I can see that blocks are colored based on how hard to count they are for the 2020 census. The dark blocks are more likely to have high levels of non-response to the census, so we want to prioritize resources there. We can also adjust the visualization to show different variables, such as the percent of each block that does not speak English. Now I can use filters to identify the hardest to count blocks in Dallas County. In the filter dropdown, I see that there are different options for how to filter my audience to explicitly identify these blocks. On the population tab, I can filter to identify blocks that have a high share of individuals who are non-English speaking or who live in rental housing units, which are two demographic groups that are expected to have low census self-response rates. On the geography tab, I can filter to hone in on a specific geographic area, such as a precinct or a tract. Finally, on the Advanced tab, you can find the ability to filter by Civis's hard-to-count score. This is a predictive model for each tract's expected non-response to the census. Tracts with high expected non-response are priority areas for Census 2020 outreach efforts. For this example, I'm going to use the Civis hard-to-count score with a cutoff of 40 to identify the hardest-to-count blocks in Dallas County. These are blocks where we expect 40% or more of the block's households to not complete the census during the self-response period. Now that I've applied this filter, I can see that my map of Dallas County has changed to only show blocks where the hard-to-count score is greater than or equal to my cutoff. Next, I can get a better sense of this audience by navigating to the Demographics tab. Here, I can view the demographic characteristics of my audience and compare to other audiences that I have previously described. One useful comparison is with Dallas County overall, to understand how my audience differs from the population as a whole. Here, we can see that the hard-to-count blocks are more likely to have renters and non-English speakers compared to all of Dallas County. Now that I have my audience, I want to be sure to save this audience so that I can export the details and share with others. I can do this by completing the following steps. First, select the Finalize Audience button to save the audience. Give the audience a name and a description to remember for later. If I want to export the data as a CSV, I can now select the Create List button. After doing so, I can open the My Audiences tab and see the audience I've saved. Finally, using the Download List button, I can download the CSV file with all of the hard-to-count blocks to my local computer. This will also include related information about each block, such as the share of the population that does not speak English and the share of rental housing units. Now that I know where I want to focus my outreach efforts, I can start using additional data layers to identify places for holding events. For this example, let's say we want to focus on tract 7202, which is in my hard-to-count audience. I can now go to the Points of Interest section to display points of interest that are near tract 7202. In this case, I only have data on schools, but we could add parks, community centers, and libraries, for example. I can hover over this point and see that there are multiple elementary schools in or near my tract. As an organizer, I can now reach out and see if there is a possibility to hold an event at one of these locations. In this short demo, we walk through one use case for one team, but there are many other ways you can use this tool to support data-driven outreach campaigns. If you are not yet using Census Intelligence Center, head to civisanalytics.com and fill out our Get in Touch web form to get connected with our team. If you're already using CIC and have questions or additional use cases you would like help with, email support@civisanalytics.com. Thank you for your time, and don't forget to fill out the census.